Well, she had a birthday yesterday, I believe.
That's right. So it's still, I'm extending it,
29.
an extended birthday. As long as there's air in the balloons, I'm celebrating.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Happy afternoon, everybody. It's Wednesday, June 24th. For those of you who follow these things, today is the feast day of St. John the Baptist, who is the patron saint of Quebec, where I come from. This is a provincial holiday, and it always marked the end of the school year, so it was always a happy time. So happy St. John the Baptist feast day. It's not one of Lee Dooley's what are all those days, Lee, that you have? It's like Happy Donut Day or strange things. Okay, happy to see everybody. We have some updates that come from conversations that the chancellors have been having over the past few days, and some campus updates as well. We'll follow our usual protocol for these things. So we are expecting probably sometime today, if not today, then certainly by tomorrow, the president of the university, President Lassner, will be sending out guidance on work from home. It's World UFO Day. See, I knew there was something. The president's message will inform the university about guidance on working from home and on coming and returning to campus. So based on what the president will be saying, we will also on this campus be determining how we will proceed forward. Thanks to everybody who submitted their office plans for how to accommodate 6-foot distancing and other hygiene for especially the shared spaces. Now, we know that in some departments there are shared spaces, lunch rooms, work rooms, those kinds of spaces. And we're going to need to be very mindful of the things that are shared, because if you read anything about CDC, it's about cutting back on things, instruments, tools, coffee machines, things that multiple people touch, because anything that's touched by multiple people needs to be sanitized. So if your office includes that kind of equipment, it's in your best interest to cut back on the stuff that is being shared. And if you have your personal stuff in shared spaces, you may want to think about bringing that stuff back for your personal use rather than having everybody using it, because when everybody or multiple people are using it, it's going to have to be sanitized after every use. So do be mindful of what is out there in shared space and shared use. Once we get the guidance from the president, we'll be coming back with our own campus explicit guidance for coming back. Let's see. We'll probably also be hearing in the next few days that the campus will continue to be closed to the public.
You can be heard.
Somebody is not muted. Roger. Roger, try mute your. So it does appear that the campus will be, and all the campuses, the university will be closed to the public for fall. That is likely to be coming out as well too. Door handles, yeah, you're correct, Jeff. And I know that the custodians are cleaning door handles and sanitizing them once a day. You may want to consider your classroom or your office door as well if lots of people go in and out from your door handles. Okay. There has been at least once at every campus Zoom questions about international students and face-to-face classes and online classes. So the Honda International Center staff has been doing the research. They've contacted individuals it's at CVIS, our CVIS regional folks, our CVIS guidance folks. And so they have prepared a document which lays out what the campus policy will be. So there are two scenarios, and I will share this once I've said it out loud at this meeting. There's two scenarios, right? So you guys who've been coming in on these campus Zooms all the time, you know, we have put in a request for exceptions to the CVIS rules about how many credits of online instruction students can take. That guidance specifies that 9 credits must be face-to-face and 3 credits can be online. That is standard for CVIS. That standard guidance was lifted for spring because of COVID, and it was lifted for summer also because of COVID. We have requested to be exempt from that for fall as well. We have not heard back. If we don't hear back, then scenario 2 will be put in place, where our campus definition of hybrid will be used to count as face-to-face. The guidance that HIC, the Honda International Center, has put together will specify that hybrid courses as defined by the university and the campus will count towards the face-to-face credits. So hybrid will count in that 9 credits, and then 3 100% online credits will go into that calculation. So is that clear to everyone? I will also share the physical document that the Honda folks have put together so that you have it and you can read it for yourself again. So what questions do you have about that right now? No, there is no minimum number of face-to-face meetings for hybrid, as defined by the university and the campus. Other questions? Okay, any questions at all about anything that I've just said? Anything about closed to the public, coming guidance on work from home and return to campus, and international students?
Louise,
Yes, Joe.
just a comment about the Honda Center. Thanks to Susan Inoue, she gave us the contact name at Senator Schatz's office, and we have requested from them that they try to expedite an answer from C. So that's in the way as well.
Okay. We're trying all the possible angles, and thanks to everybody for their concern. Hybrid as defined by the campus. What is the latest on the campus definition? I believe that was shared with you from Maria. Maria, this might be a good time for you to come in and update the campus on anything to do with academic affairs, since there's a question already.
Okay, for the definition of hybrid, what we define it is there's 2 components to the course. One is face-to-face and the other one is online. So you can do whatever you want to do with it. You know, like you can have whatever percentage you want to do for face-to-face or for online. It really doesn't matter when you say hybrid. You can have like all your exam days to be face-to-face because you want proctored exam, and all the rest is going to be online. You know, so it's up to you to decide on what percentage you will be using for the 2 components, the face-to-face and the online part. We will be coming up with the definitions of all of these in the instructional subgroup. So it's going to be one of the documents that we will be giving out. And Joanna also asking for these definitions to put on the webpage.
Do you have other updates, Maria, you'd like to share?
Oh, I'll go now.
Mhm.
Okay. For the courses, the transition, Nava just gave me the numbers. 251 courses have been moved from face-to-face to online, and 250 courses have been moved from face-to-face to hybrid. So face-to-face to online, that would be about 65% of the courses already that needs to be moved. And for the hybrid, it's about 40% of the courses have been done. But as again, I said yesterday at the CAC, once this is transitioned to whatever format you want, you'll have to put in your comments to describe what kind of course it is so that the students will be aware of uh, whether it's going to be totally online or it's going to be hybrid. There are times when they have to be on Zoom, particular times, and all of those things. So I think what we will do with the instructional group is also come up with templates for these comments, and it's up to you to tweak or do whatever you want to do with it, just so that it's clear to the students, because Sheldon already sent us some emails where students are really confused and they see their class changed from initially it was face to face and now it's online, and then there is a date and a time to it. So what does that mean? So all of these things we're going to try and define, and we'll have it clear in the comments part of in-class availability.
Right. So Nava just made that comment. Information about the courses will be, the class sections will be included in the comments. There's a question from Kevin Dooley, which I don't understand, Kevin. So it's up to the instructor or up to the subgroup? What is it, Kevin?
The definition of hybrid. Like what?
The instructor can determine how they're going to teach their course. And there are categories of hybrid courses that need to be somewhat defined so that the banner codes can be input consistently for the messaging to students as well. But Maria and or Nava might have some other comments. Just hold on a second. Miki wants to know if the instructors are going to be required to post their plan for the hybrid, and how are students going to be notified, and input. Okay, so Navaha,
Okay.
do you want to talk about it, or Maria, or both? Go Maria, then Navaha.
What we were asking the faculty to do is, once Nava finishes with, let us say, a department, he would email the department chair, and the department chair will contact the faculty. Faculty can go to their Laulima site, get the emails of all the students that are registered so far in that class, and send them a personal email that this class has been changed from whatever to whatever, right? And so that is how the students are getting informed about the changes in their individual classes. And then when we're all done with the fall 2020 semester schedule, we will ask NOEAL to send an announce to all the students to look at their courses again and see if, you know, some students, they ignore emails. So maybe announce would get them to look at the courses that they've registered in order to see if there are any changes in it. So that's
Navaha, you
the
like to
plan.
add?
Nava?
Yeah, exactly what Maria said. In terms of hybrid, the only way I'm looking at it while working with Jerry is if you elected option 4 or option 5 out of the 5 options that you had, we're marking those as hybrid in Banner. But I think Maria covered the rest of it.
The only addition to that is if you chose number 4, where you want 2 CRNs, then your secretary should create another course with a different CRN and cross-link those 2 courses. We got more course link codes. We were awarded more codes. Before we only had, I think, 36, but now we've got more. I do not know what the number is. And maybe we will have to ask Jerry to help us migrate the students from one CRN to the other. Because right now, when we go from face-to-face to hybrid, Jerry does not have to do anything. She does not have to disenroll the students and re-enroll. The only time it's gonna happen is when you have two CRNs, so that you can give, have two CRNs, two classes with equal number of students.
Kevin, you're confused.
I'm trying to reconcile Hal's question about minimum number of meetings for a hybrid class with, all the work that the people put in defining your class will meet in this way and that way, et cetera, and the different options. Seems like, I can just pick whatever option I want and then say, we'll meet week 1 and that's it.
Yeah,
Right?
as long as you can address all your SLOs.
Yeah, I think it's really important that however your hybrid is going to be, if it's going to require some face-to-face, that the students should know what is that face-to-face component going to be. If it's one class, they should know it's just going to be the first day. If it's every Tuesday or every third Friday or whatever it is, they need to be informed as to what they need to do to ensure that they can be available on the days and times when the faculty want the students to meet face-to-face. To me, that's really, really important, because otherwise the students' schedules are going to go all cuckoo and they're going to say, well, you didn't tell me, I didn't know, my job, my family. So I think if you're going to have something other than we're going to be face-to-face every Tuesday and online the rest of the time, whatever the schedule is going to be, whatever menu of options, you need to make sure that you let your students know that.
I thought we were to be kind of policed by whoever is watching over the F1 students regarding having like a substantive amount of face-to-face participation required or something along those lines.
We have gotten the guidance, and you will get copies. I'll send them to your department chairs, where the online class, prior to this guidance, the online class was defined as primarily online. And then it was face-to-face. CVIS has no definition of hybrid, none. So it was just primarily online or face-to-face. What we have learned since then is that they are saying online is exclusively online and the rest is face-to-face. So that makes a very big difference. But there is still no definition of hybrid from CVIS.
And so we can presume that we have no minimum number of required meetings under hybrid.
Correct. But we are using the university definitions because I don't want to make stuff up just because. So we're going with the university definitions of what our hybrid classes are, and everything else is online.
Yeah, because we were talking about, well, maybe we could just do all accounting online, and then we're kind of worried about the F1 students, and now it appears we could just call it hybrid.
No, you cannot just call it hybrid.
I don't know if there's 0 meetings. If there's 0 or 1 required meeting, then that's hybrid.
Not 0.
Okay, 1.
At least 1. Yeah.
There must be at least 1.
Okay.
There must be a need for the students to be physically on site. That's what CVIS wants to know. If you're an F1 student, you have to be on the campus that gave you the visa, doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Question. There was one of the options we want to go with at first, like having 1 meeting and then the rest of the class online. But back at the time that we had to make the election or the option, we had to pick up the option. We were asked that not to pick the option because the F1 student status wasn't set yet. And so can we change our option again at this time, or we're stuck with the option we selected?
Yeah, we had no idea about this 1 meeting thing. We thought, if it's hybrid, it's hybrid. And we had to come every other day or whatever, right?
Well, there's never been a definition of hybrid that said you had to come every other day anyway.
Well, the subgroup definitions. There's a whole raft of, possible variants
And I don't know that any of those specifies how many days.
Yeah, they did. It was like Tuesdays only.
Is it just to authenticate that the student is there, though?
I'm sorry, Candy?
Is it just to authenticate that a student is actually there, just kind of like you would do at a testing center to make sure that it's actually that student that's taking the course? So if that's the purpose of it, one session would make sense, just to now I can't even say it, authenticate that they were actually there and taking class from you. I don't know. It's just a thought that might be the purpose.
The federal government is adamant that when international students travel for educational purposes, they are issued a visa. And that visa is issued by a particular institution for classes at that institution. If you have a class that is exclusively online, even Zoom, they could be anywhere. What the federal government requires is that the student is physically present at the institution that has issued the I-20 visa for educational purposes. And this comes from 9/11. So understand that this is very serious, that we cannot be giving education to international students who can be somewhere else to do it. We're the institution that authorized their coming to our campus. We are responsible for tracking and monitoring the students' presence and their enrollment in the program and the right number of credits. They, for visa purposes, must be enrolled in at least 12 credits. All of that is our responsibility, and we are accountable to the federal government. So there is no calling it hybrid when it's not.
Well, I mean, if it's one meeting, that's pretty much not really hybrid as far as I'm concerned.
But there you go. So thank you for that, Kevin.
But I mean, okay. So one meeting is it? That's our final guidance? Because then we'll just go, hybrid and say, this class meets at the beginning of the semester, and maybe we do or maybe we don't have proctored exams, and the rest is kind of up to us as individual instructors then, right? Do we check?
If you call something something, you have to make sure it is that something, Kevin.
Well, but is it?
And
is it,
there are 5. Is it 5, Maria? 5 different class formats. So you fit into one of those 5 class formats, and then you're following the principles of the university. And one of those formats is face-to-face, 100%. One of those formats is online, 100%. And 3 of those formats are hybrid.
2.
2?
There are 1 face-to-face, 2 online, because it's synchronous and synchronous, right?
Right.
And then 2 hybrid. Yeah.
But the hybrid seems to prescribe that you will meet X days. Yeah, according to the doc from the subgroup. So we can elect to not meet on those days.
Yeah,
Just
you can elect to meet whatever day you want to meet. But if you put a schedule on your on class availability, that means that is going to be reserved by the students to meet with you whenever you want them to meet. Is that clear?
Not really.
No, because if you're in class availability, we put, let's say, Tuesday, Thursday, 8 to 9:30, right?
Can I put like August 26th and 27th, and then that's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
You cannot put that in class availability, right? You can put that in the comments.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we say hybrid and no day.
You can't say hybrid and no day.
Okay. What do you say?
It's not hybrid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
So Kevin, something that I saw maybe about a year or 2 ago, I mentioned this at CAC yesterday, was the course was, when you looked at it on class availability, it said www, I think it was tagged as a hybrid in Banner, which the students can't see that it's a hybrid course, but it was tagged as a hybrid. And the instructor said, this is an online course with 4 meeting dates. And I think one was at the beginning, there was 2 where they did speeches, and there was 1 for the final.
Oh,
And
yeah, it's speech, what Leeward did for speech, right?
Correct. And I think that was really clear for, if I was a student and I saw that, then I would know that, okay, all my work is online, but I actually have to go 4 days to do a speech or something like that. Something like that, that would be a hybrid in my head.
Got it?
Okay, so we'll try and find that. We'll try and resurrect that listing from Leeward and see whatever that was tag wise, right?
Okay.
We'll try to find out, yeah.
Would you be able to, or Lori can, or who would we check with?
Which
No,
one is
like-
that?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Are we ready to move on?
Your lunch is ready.
Christy, mute your mic.
Oh my God.
I already ate my lunch. Maria, anything else? You're muted, Maria.
The faculty-led discipline professional development. Some of the units have already been approved. That would be A&P, English, Japanese and Chinese, Math 75X, Physics, Hospitality. All of these are ready to go. All the others are still being reviewed. So we might have more discipline-led professional development happening during summer. That's it for now.
Okay, Maria, there's another question from Mickey. She says, if you look at some of the things on STAR, it might say Tuesday, Thursday, 10 to 11:30, www. Could that mean that it's online Zoom and you have to be there at a particular time, or could that mean a hybrid?
That means it is online and it is synchronous. So you have to attend a Zoom meeting at that time.
But it's not physical, you have to be somewhere.
No,
Okay.
because it's www.
And we're gonna have some way to help the students understand all of this stuff,
Yeah.
right?
We'll try and, yeah, we'll discuss it on Friday.
Because I think some of us aren't, it's hard for all of us to decipher what is the secret code behind the stuff. So if we can make it very clear, then the comments need to be there. And I think you and I talked about a legend at the top that has a secret decoder thing that helps people understand what things mean. That would be good. Okay.
Yep.
Well, maybe, Kevin. All right. You're muted. How wonderful. No, go ahead.
So
What?
given that the students don't actually use class availability, they just go to STAR, and what does STAR say I'm supposed to add? I don't think it's going to do much to, it might be the official repository of our positions on this or that, but I don't think it's going to actually get the message to the students if they're not reading it. Not
In
you.
the chat box that we have now,
Mhm.
somebody already asked that one about the STAR.
Mhm.
Actually, STAR gets its information from Banner. So
Right.
the comments are going to be in STAR. It's a drop-down
Oh,
menu, so students can still see the comments.
tell them to read the drop downs then,
Yes.
but it can't be default opened or whatever, I guess. Huh? So they have to like want to read it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, there's some information in the chat about how to do that, Kevin, so. Okay, whew. I think, Maria, you're done. Okay. Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs.
I think we ran out of time already. I don't
No, we got time, we got time.
Okay. I guess a couple of quick updates. So the Urgent Student Relief Funds, this is money that is raised by UH Foundations. It is open to international students, DACA students, everybody, sorry, except the non-credit students, they can go ahead and apply online. If somebody can put in the website for me, that'd be great. Just some, I guess, clarifying some things. It does say that the application closes at 4 p.m. every Wednesday. It doesn't mean that the student cannot keep submitting an application. They're just going to be held to the next round. So if you have students worried that they won't make the deadline by today, they can always send it in. The reason why we're doing that is because we have a limited amount of funds that is issued throughout all of the colleges. I believe our disbursement for this time around is 14,000. So it basically opens up and shuts down so that the system can allocate all the applications, and then applications are not just sitting around waiting to be read when really there's no money. So again, students, as long as they're registered for summer classes, they can also apply. Please know that the Urgent Student Relief Funds is different from the CARES funds that we have been talking about. All right, so Urgent Student Relief is money raised by the UH foundations, okay? So private donors, we have a lot of flexibility in spending that. The CARES money, that is the one that was issued by the federal government. We got $1 million to award the students, and we have only awarded about 70,000. So the CARES money, it is not, there is no application right now. We only had one round of it back in May, and we are going to do another round as soon as we finalize some things at the system level. Once that is created, I'll share that with everybody in the college to help encourage students to go ahead and apply. I know the other thing that we have been tossed around, throwing around the idea of is getting students to complete their FAFSA. So I believe Maria and then some people in the STEM Center, Hervé, has been able to reach out to their students to kind of go ahead and complete the FAFSA. I'll be working with some of these individuals to try and create a bigger campaign. If we are contacting our students, especially those that we're more familiar with, and if needed, to either hold an online FAFSA, which we've never done before, but we can try, or to even hold an in-person FAFSA workshop, similar to the ones we've done in the past, of course, with proper social distancing. Because I think with the CARES funding, the biggest thing, if students complete a FAFSA, it doesn't automatically qualify you for the CARES fund, but it puts you pretty close. So it's one of the big indicators to help spend down this money. Because as Brian was sharing, if we don't spend down the round one funding of $1 million, we cannot really spend down that round two. So as it currently sits, we spent 70,000 in one run. So the money that the college can use would essentially be 70,000. So basically wait for another email. Once things become finalized, I'll speak more about that in the future. Another quick thing, just because we gave an update at the CAC meeting yesterday, the Student Services CCC meeting is working together to put together an FAQ for students to basically help transition them back on campus. There's a lot of things that we're thinking about, but basically creating just expected behaviors for students. So we are answering questions such as telling students when entering a classroom, what should you do? When exiting a classroom, when waiting for your class to start, things that you should do. Everything about the physical distancing behavior, wearing masks, all of that is going to be put into a document. As soon as it is a little bit more finalized and completed, we'll probably ask for feedback just so that everybody can kind of be on the same page once we start to, I guess, enter when students are back on campus. That's all updates I have for now.
Questions for Noel?
Does anybody else want to answer the face shield question? Count as a mask?
Yeah, we'll get that. Not yours. Okay. Questions for Noel about students, not face masks. Yeah, I think social media is going to be a way we can get some FAFSA done. Okay, Brian, Vice Chancellor for Admin Services, who might want to address the face shields and a very early question about parking. If we're not open to the campus, are we going to open up more parking?
Hello, everyone. It's been such a lively discussion so far. I hope you all are still tuned in and I don't bore you. Um, no, I'm just kidding. I hope everybody's doing well. Let me just quickly talk about the plans that came in. I'm going to abbreviate my report in the interest of time. There were 81 office plans that were received. Of the 81, 38 simply requested moving furniture, which is a simple aux services request. And as long as we can get containers, that should be we should be able to accommodate that. Of the 81, 20 requested either a facilities modification or the purchase of items such as barriers. 10 were approved of the 20, 8 we needed to do follow-up, and then 2 were denied because of the office could do social distancing, so it wasn't necessary to do any type of barriers. Of the 8 that we need to follow up on, we've already done about 5 of them, and they were approved as well, but there needed to be some clarification as to what they wanted to do. I know there's a lot of questions right now, or at least the administrators are telling me that you guys have questions coming from the field about what the campus is going to be providing with regard to sanitization stuff. So for the large majority of programs, we will be providing a hand sanitizer and wipes or spray. Very likely spray as opposed to wipes, because wipes right now is the item that is scarce. Sanitizer and other cleaning agents are actually starting to come back, and there's more available in the marketplace. The revenue generating programs, however, because they have an activity that is outside of what the college's tuition and fees and general fund supports, will have to cover their own sanitizer, wipes / spray. How you get those for right now until we can develop a better process, just simply call auxiliary services, extension 9157. You can let Jean know what your needs are, and then she can arrange for you to pick them up or drop them off to you. Right now, while we do have product, we are largely reserving our product for the offices, the classrooms and the services that we provide, such as for labs or the library. While we do want to get to a point where we can provide sanitizer to all of our students and all of our employees, we're not there yet. So we do ask you, for your EDC kit or your everyday carry kit, in your purse or in your pants pocket, you should be carrying your own personal hand sanitizer. So with regard to masks, I think Guy asked the question. Let me make sure I got this correctly. Do face shields count as masks? No, face shields do not count as masks. Think of it this way: when you wear a face covering, you're actually protecting others, so that your aspiration does not go into others. When you wear a face shield, you're protecting yourself. So they both have to be worn for the most effectiveness. I'm not ready to answer the question that was asked yesterday at the CAC meeting about how are people supposed to teach with a face covering on. I don't know. There's a lot of things that we still don't know, but we're going to have to figure out and try, and then assess as we move forward. What about the hand sanitizer that the science folks are offering? That's very, very possible. I don't want to extend John Berestecki or his students. They do have a limited supply. I can double check with John, unless he's on this call, town Zoom, about what kind of availability and how long into the future they plan to make these batches. Is JB on?
I'm checking.
I'll move to the next one while Louise looks.
No, he's not.
So Hal, face shields may be better than masks for lecturing. Yes and no. Again, when you wear a mask, you're protecting others. So if you're going to be teaching that way, don't be within 6 feet of a student as you're teaching if you're not going to wear that face covering. the question with regard to parking, so we got to keep in mind that we are still closed to the public, and I think Louise mentioned that we currently are and will plan to be, although not clear yet. As soon as the president lets us know, but we plan to be closed into the fall. So parking in Lot B or Lot C will continue to be limited because that's where the neighborhood joggers and exercisers park, and those are the individuals, the very individuals actually, that we do want to prevent from coming onto campus. Because they have no business here. That said, we're gonna be adjusting parking availability and opening up as necessary in Lot B and Lot C, depending on the number of face-to-face classes that we have into the second summer session and into the fall. We understand that right now, Lot E is still closed because of the PV project, and so we're gonna just have to adjust as necessary. I do want to remind folks, especially those up at Copico in the upper campus area, Lot A is open. Lot A has been open now for about a month, if not a little bit longer. It's got reasonable hours. No one's really said that the hours are not good. Right now it's, I think, 7:30 to 5. And if that doesn't work, I mean, let us know. The reason why we haven't opened up the Lot A gate yet is because Leahi employees love to park in Lot A, especially during the summer. And while they are our neighbors, I don't want to try to keep the campus safe and then those individuals, come onto campus and have no business here and end up taking up our parking and then potentially spreading the virus. Any questions? Okay, so one more thing that I wanted to cover with regard to, and I just want to make it very, very clear, when it comes to CARES 1 and CARES 2. CARES 1 and CARES 2 were provided to us by the federal government in the same amount, so each of them about 1.1 million. CARES 1 is specifically for students, for student aid. While we cannot go and purchase things for students, we are to provide students this money, not even in their UH account, but we just provide this money. That's the requirement. While we have the same amount of money, 1.1 million for CARES 2, we only can use CARES 2 up to the amount that we allocate to students for aid. So for instance, if we only allocate $500,000 in CARES 1, we can only spend $500,000 in CARES 2. Right now, the reality is that of CARES 1, we've only allocated out $70,000. So with regard to our budget, quote unquote budget for CARES 2, it is only $70,000. And it's a very important thing for us to remember. I know as we move, every time we have a campus-wide discussion or a discussion about the CARES funding, please don't think as of right now that this money is fully available to us. It is not. It is not. And so I just want folks to be mindful about that.
Brian, there's a question about the access road. Can
Sure.
we make the access road area available longer?
Sure. Any questions on CARES before I go to answer that one? Okay, so can we make the access road available? Calvin, why don't you send me an email with, specifically what the need is, and then we can talk about it. Is that cool? Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Going through the deans, health dean, Lisa?
Yep, just a couple quick things. I'd like to congratulate the respiratory care program. They won the Distinguished Registered Respiratory Therapist Credentialing Success Award. And it's not just any award, this is for 8 consecutive years. So that's a big, huge shout out to the respiratory care team. And then just a quick update. The information sessions are underway for our community health worker program that is through the Department of Health cooperation with the UH. We've got a lot of support, and we're finding a lot of interest in that. It should start this fall. We'll have a couple of different tracks, a part-time and a full-time track, and we're gathering some more information, so that's coming along well. And if you need any more information on that, let me know. Thanks everyone for all you're doing.
Thank you. Okay, there's a couple more Brian Kind questions. And Rich Halverson has just put in a link for a clear mask, which covers your mouth, but you can see through it. Brian?
You want to address these? So
Yeah.
Jan's question is the Mokehana renovation still on? Yes. In fact, I can give you guys a quick update on projects. I'll be quick about this. Nayo is for the most part done. For the most part, all the tenants have moved back in. Monono, unfortunately, I did say it was going to be done by the end of June. It does not look like it's going to be done until the end of August. Permitting has really killed us for all of our projects. The dental lab over in Kawila should be done by August. Our PV project has hit a big roadblock. It's all permitting. We're still stuck midway through. It's very rare for any project to get stopped midway through construction, but we were stopped. And JCI, our general contractor and partner on energy management, is having to address issues over with DPP, or the Department of Planning and Permitting. The lot C resurfacing is moving along well, and the lot should be done by mid-July. Renovation work, and this is your question, Jan, renovation work on the portables will begin approximately in July or so. They're already kind of gearing up and staging things for those portables. There was one more question.
Yeah, point of entry, only one entry exit to the campus?
As of right now, quite honestly, I haven't thought that far ahead with that particular exit. If we get anything like a typical fall, that's not feasible. If our fall looks more like it does right now, then likely we will keep that exit closed. The exits and the exits and the entrances and the availability of parking, we're trying to largely address on a semester on semester basis. So it is hard to project, that far ahead. Again, if we go based off of prior years, a prior fall, then absolutely we would be opening up all of our parking and all of our entrances and exits. I got a whisper here about reminding everyone. So a few weeks ago, I reminded everyone that parking fines by Hawaii administrative rule in March of 2019, the entire University of Hawaii is on one parking fine schedule. We are implementing that parking fine schedule on July 1st. Every other campus, for the most part, has implemented for about a year now. We were the last one simply because we did have a lot of construction going on our parking. And so again, July 1st, we will be implementing the new fine schedule. This is not fees, okay? This is not fees, this is fine. So just park in a stall correctly and you won't get a parking ticket.
Thank you, Brian. It's a question from Lavashay. I think that's one for the deans and the department chairs if you guys are on here. It's true, 9-month faculty do not always check their emails, but we're hoping that if they have made changes to their courses, that they will be the ones to reach out to the students and not let the students flounder around not knowing what's going on. Dean Richards, any updates?
Yes, aloha everybody. I know we have a number of folks that have been waiting for the Perkins Phase 3 information to hit. It came in a couple of hours ago, so I wanted to share just a headline with you. So to enable students' progress to degree and CTE programs, Perkins funds will now support expenses for program improvement and enhancement because of changes in delivery of instruction for fall 2020 due to coronavirus. So all of the proposals that were in Phase 2 that did not get selected, I've moved those to Phase 3. This is an abbreviated prioritization process that we're doing. So I'm not going to be submitting the full proposals that you submitted to me. I'm going to be presenting abbreviated proposal, but I have new information that they're asking for. So I will create an email to all of you this afternoon requesting the additional information, like which particular CTE course, alpha and name, which CRN specifically, what is your projected number of students impacted, what are the course learning outcomes addressed by these expenses. So I'll do those. The programs that are in process are the Women's Correctional Prison Grant, the Paralegal Grant that Susan put forward, the Opera Host Grant, the ITDE Production Grant from Steve Singer, the Health Third Year Clinic grant, and then there's going to be a new allowance, I think, for PPE that Lisa's working on with the system, and there may be one other one. So I'm going to be sending all of you all information with additional information. I have to have this formatted, returned by the 30th, by next week. So it's a short turnaround, but look email this afternoon and email me with any questions anytime. Thanks.
Thank you. Questions for John? Go Cook program and Ignite still happening?
Ignite is happening. Go Cook is on hiatus until we figure out funding for it.
Okay, thanks, John. Naval, anything you'd like to share?
No, yeah, maybe just a little. The next step is just open today to high school students. So I'm trying to track the enrollment. I know we're up to English 100 courses and they're almost full, and it just opened today. And I'm trying to figure out enrolling students. So I don't think students can actually go to a enroll themselves. Sherry, you stay online. Suza. She's not here. What I'm thinking is that there's counselors that actually enroll them in courses. But I can provide Tiana Lewis registering. Thank you, Sherry, my pal.
Sherry's actually online.
Huh?
Sherry's here.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What? Yeah. Go ahead, Sherry.
Sorry, I was on another call. I wasn't listening. What did you want to know?
Just in terms of, I think Jerry answered that Tiana is registering students into the classes. Did they just start enrollment today? I just checked that out today.
We haven't, for July 6th?
Yeah.
No, we didn't enroll them in July 6th, but the students were given the link to sign up for the classes on the 22nd and 23rd. So some of the courses have already filled, but what we have to do is reconcile the list to make sure that we're balancing the courses properly, and then we're going to be working with the registrars to have them registered.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else, Naval?
No, I just, thanks to everybody for, I know I've been bugging some of the chairs, and I think sometimes it seems like, didn't we already answer this question? So I apologize in the event that you already said your class was going to move to hybrid, and I'm coming in again going, wait, hybrid, but is that number 4 or number 5? Just because the way we're doing things in Banner is we're just looking for a number, and we're not looking for like a whole list of comments on how you want it. I just want, is it number 4, number 5? Is it number 3 or 2? So, but thanks for hanging in there with us, and thanks, Jerry, for all your work. That's it.
Thank you, Naval, and Jerry too. It's monumental task. Okay, Carol Pushko?
Continuing education programs across campus have been delivering classes online this summer. And then we have been very successful with our Kaya Ulu webinar series. We have one that is at 2 o'clock tomorrow that is about cyber hygiene. And on Tuesday of next week, there is going to be a webinar about careers in cybersecurity. The 3 that have already been conducted were very well attended with participants ranging from about 45 participants all the way up to 111. I am also working with a committee to develop criteria to appropriate funds to continuing ed students who were impacted by COVID-19, and appreciation is extended to the donors, to Lin Huang and to Noel for making some funds available for continuing ed students to receive assistance at this time. And that's all that I have to report at this point. Thank you.
Thanks, Carol. Questions for Carol? Okay. Joanne?
Yeah, just quickly, I've been working with Luis Yamamoto, Rafael Lowe, Maria Bautista, and Carl Naito on improving our communication through our websites. So Ohana, the Ohana site, if you click on it now, you can click and see what the 4 CCC Comeback Committee subgroups are actually going to do. It just, right now, it just has a general description, but eventually we're going to be linking all the documents that we've been talking about and asking for feedback. It's going to be there, but also on the main website, the banner that's on the top is going to be like a headline, and it's going to be pushing folks to information that'll now live on those 6, you know, where the gray areas, if you just kind of scroll down the first homepage, you'll see these 6 areas. And right now there's a campus status area that has information on just coming back to campus. And those, it's right in the middle. We're just started building it. So it's very beginning times, but we're going to put more and more information there for faculty, for students and others. So just keep going back to it, because I'm hoping that the information will be very timely. That's it.
Questions for Joanne? Anything about the website?
Well, and I also want to just thank Jamie Sickle for really coming in during the March, right after the whole spring break time, and just doing an awesome job on keeping communication going for the campus.
Terrific. Okay. Candy, I think you needed to relay a message.
Yeah, this is regarding electronic dossiers. Susan J, I think, was asked a question last week, and she was asked to follow up with UPA, and she couldn't be here today. So she wanted me to let you know that the union says that there's no problem moving forward with this option. The electronic dossier is an expected option since it's been a pilot for years. Of course, if you do the electronic dossier, you don't get paid for it, like in the past when they did do the pilot. And meeting with Erica last week, which is our vice president for community colleges, she is a real advocate for us going this way. And if we can use the electronic right now as an option, she'd even like to see it be mandatory moving forward, but I don't think that's an option at this point. But for right now, it's a really good option because we may be able to meet on Zoom. This isn't something that's been approved yet, but something that she's working on. So we don't have to go to the different islands to look at dossiers. I'm not sure how they're going to handle the paper dossiers moving forward, but it is something that they're thinking about because the traveling is going to be a difficult thing to mandate faculty to do right now. So electronic, thumbs up for electronic dossiers.
I'm guessing that there'll also be some training provided to those people who want to try the online option, I suspect. Since the other folks have been trained, I expect that there'll be some training for online authors and online reviewers as well.
Yeah, I that's as far as I know. I'm just giving the update for her, but yeah, I would assume so. And I know there are other things that they may need to consider, like extending deadlines and things like that. But I don't know that much about that. But I do know thumbs up. And if you've ever done it before, I was a reviewer last semester, it just makes life so much easier. It's like uploading something in La Lima. It's no big whoop, really. It's a good option.
Thank you, Candy. We're at time right now, and I see Dr. Oda's put another message on here in the chat about face shields and all of this guidance that we're getting about what works and what works better. It really is about personal hygiene and making sure that we stay safe as best as we can. Are there any questions out in the participants? Anything you'd like to ask right now? I did get a bunch of questions sent to me in email, which we haven't got to, and I'll try to respond to those. And I will also share them with the FAQ folks. Can I do the announcements again really quick? The announcements at the beginning? We will get guidance from the president on two things. One is going to be the work from home return to campus, and the other we'll probably know absolutely about being closed to the public in the fall. And the third thing was international students. And I don't want to get into that again right now. It was a kind of a long conversation. I see Kevin's face right there. But thank you, Kevin, for asking, because we were able to clarify. But I will be sending the HIC document to all the department chairs so they have it to look at and share with you guys. Anybody in the audience still have something to ask or share? Thank you, Hal. Oh, and yes, we should let you guys know that the college has been recognized for its ongoing excellence at fundraising for colleges, for public colleges with an endowment of less than $8 million. They have all of these categories. And the acknowledgement came from CASE, C-A-S-E, which is a national organization for development and fundraising. So we were recognized for our efforts. So thank you.
Louise, just to follow up on Angela's comment, very quickly, cybersecurity is come to the forefront again because of the various situations in our society. People are trying to take advantage. So please read the email that was sent out by UH System. If you have questions, let me know. Just be very vigilant out there in anything you do, especially online.
Okay. You know, I don't think these will ever get old, these campus Zoom meetings. It's all so much fun. I do really appreciate everybody being engaged and asking questions and getting answers, not just from me or from the program administrators, but from all of you who contribute answers to each other's questions. It's the best ever. So I do appreciate all of your engagement in this. So today I counted at the most was 136 people, which is outstanding. This is the end of June. Everybody's supposed to be gone. But here you are, trying to make sure that you're on track and that you're keeping up with all of the things that are happening on a very day-to-day basis. And no, Angela, you cannot sing group happy birthday. It doesn't work. But I so appreciate the thought. Thank you very much. Okay, you guys, we'll see you next week, Wednesday. In the meantime, take care of each other, take care of yourself, be good, stay well, and pay attention to your email and to the students who might be reaching out, because they're just as confused as you are about many things. And thank you all for the birthday wishes. It's great.
Okay, if anyone wants to join me, I'm gonna sing. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Chancellor extraordinaire. Happy birthday to you.
That was perfect.
Yeah.
Yay!
We'll make sure that that portion is available to you all for your. It's recorded, so you guys.
Everything on iTunes. Yeah.
Thank you very much, everybody. See you Wednesday.
Bye.
Bye. Happy
Bye.
birthday.
Bye, everybody. Bye. Bye. Bye.